Welcome to part 2, how to properly diaphragmatic breathe. In the last video, if you have not watched it, check it out. I go over the anatomy and physiology behind proper diaphragmatic breathing and why belly breathing is not efficient for anyone or anybody on this planet, no matter what you do. You're human. You shouldn't do it because your lungs live in your chest and not your abdomen. And it's just common sense, people. If I had my anatomy books right here with me right now, what I would do is I'd show you the picture. But you can Google it. It's as easy as that. And the lungs literally live in the chest. They are separated by your diaphragm which lives again in your chest. And then there's your abdomen. And so if you are purely belly breathing, you are not using all of your lungs efficiently and effectively. And I'll scream that everywhere I go. I don't care. So what you're going to need to know how to properly diaphragmatic breathe is a towel, kind of like this, a little long, about full arm length. And then if you don't have a towel, you can use a yoga strap. If you're using something that doesn't have any elasticity to it, make sure it's long enough where you can give with it. You can also use a TheraBand. If you're going to use a TheraBand, pick a medium to light resistance. And then as you get better at this, you can go up into a greater resistance to retrain yourself. So we are using this bad boy around the body. So if you have a TheraBand, you're going to pull it tight so that there is some tension on here so that you're feeling the resistance in there. And what you'll do is you'll actually crisscross it because you'll have more than what I have here. I don't have that much length. If you're using a yoga strap, same thing. You're going to want to cross it. Now I'm using a towel that has no resistance to it. There's literally no give. So I have to give the give with it. And this is okay if you have the kinesthetic embodied awareness to do that. If you're not very embodied, I suggest start with a TheraBand and then work up to the non-stretchy material. So what you do is you wrap it around the base of your ribs, about as low as like rib 10, 11, not all the way low, because if you go all the way down here, it's going to miss out on what you want. You want it around your lower parts of your ribs so that it comes across right here in the front. It's called your xiphoid process. Right here in this spot, that's basically where you're coming to. And so because mine doesn't have all that length for me to cross, I'm keeping it here, but please cross. So what you're going to be doing is you're actually using this as a tool for your nervous system. And so when you breathe, you should feel the resistance in the band, the towel, or the strap. And the resistance, if it's a non-stretchy material, you're going to give with it. And that you're just going to give it slowly so that you're giving yourself some feedback and then come off. So it's hard for me to do this and talk. So here we go. I'm not going to talk for a second. I'm just going to show you. So use your observational skills very clearly here. So watch my abdomen. Here, before I start, here's belly breathing. And that's not good. All right. Here is breathing that's using this band here or this towel. Do you see the difference? I'll show you from the front, and then I'll break it down a little bit for you. I like to have people try stuff out before fully breaking things down, simply because you can learn a lot yourself in novel situations without having me speaking at you or to you, because your body knows. Your body has all the answers inside. There's some things that make it in the way, like a hair tie that's clogging up something that's in the way that you just can't get past because all you're fixated is on the hair tie. But past that's your answer. So if you can just remove the hair tie, you can get straight to your answer. And so that's what I'm helping you do, is remove some of those blockages, those internal hardwired blockages with things like a towel, like a tool. And so we're helping remove those things from your line of distraction. So when you're here, what you're doing, to give you, I'll just show you one last time. You can inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, or exhale out through the nose, whichever works best for you, but make sure you're inhaling through your nose. So when you do this, you want to have slight pressure on your ribcage where it feels like you're pulling and pushing your air out of your lungs and kind of letting up. Now, your most intensive awareness, if you watched part 1, you know what I'm talking about, is moving the ribcage, moving the sternum, and moving your spine. The towel, the strap, or the TheraBand is designed to help you move the back of your ribcage, the back of your body, because that's typically where a lot of people have difficulty doing. And again, this is just a technique and an exercise that you can use to help retrain this into your body. And it's not something you have to do exclusively. So when you are in this position, what you're going to do is, I'll sit from the side because it's just, I think, easier for you to see. Oops. You are breathing into this part of your body. And when you get to that point of that restriction, you're allowing either the resistance in the band, the stretch, to kind of move with it. So you start to feel an engagement. And then if you have the, like I have, you're just giving with it a little bit. And then as you exhale, you're allowing your body to naturally recoil. Do not pull on the strap, towel, or the TheraBand. Just allow it to return to its natural start or your starting position. The whole reason why you're not pulling is you don't want to be pulling and just compressing all the air out of your lungs, because it just isn't retraining your nervous system to do what you want it to do at this present moment. As you exhale, though, and you're releasing your air and it starts to feel like it's going smaller and smaller than your original start point, then that's okay to readjust your starting point, because your body has a residual amount of air that it holds in the lungs when you are breathing. And sometimes when you do exercises like this, it can help get rid of some of that residual stuck air. And so you'll want to help create that space. This is normal. That everybody has it, so it's not a bad thing. So I like doing this exercise to help retrain my diaphragm to breathe properly in the back of the body. I'm going to show you a second way you can do this without a towel. What you're going to do is you're going to find yourself on your belly. When you're on your belly, you can take a towel or a blanket, whatever you want, and you're basically just going to put it for your forehead, or you can use your hands. It doesn't matter. I like to use my hands because that's just what works best for me. So when you're in this position, I'm going to rest on my chin so I can talk to you, but you're going to rest on your forehead. When you're in this position, when you're on your belly, your arms over in front of you, your head's on your your hands, feet hip distance apart, you're just resting comfortably. You're really not doing anything hard in this position. The only thing challenging you are doing in this position is you are trying to breathe into the back of your body against gravity. So this is a variation to what I just showed you. And this variation doesn't involve any sort of extra tools or feedback. It's using the feedback from the environment around you. But what it's doing is it's blocking the front of your body with the ground below you, so you cannot breathe that way. And you're being forced to breathe into your back body and into those lower lobes of your lungs. So just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to do a few breaths. And again, this is very important that you follow those 3 plane of movements that I told you about in part 1, and that you're moving the rib cage out to the side like a bucket handle. The front and the back of your sternum and your spine are moving like a bellows. They're moving like a just kind of like out to like a little Y V. And then you have the piston motion up and down. So when you're doing this motion, I'm really trying to calibrate your mind and body to just simple ways to reestablish normal diaphragmatic breathing. So when you're here, you want to make sure you're breathing into your lower part of your back, then to your mid back, into your upper back. And as you exhale, just let the air release from your lungs in the places that they feel the easiest to release from. And so you're really just focusing on the inhale, holding for a second, and then exhaling nice and slow to allow the body to recalibrate itself. A fun fact, when your exhale is longer than your inhale, your nervous system is actually going to be activated for a parasympathetic or rest and digest state. I'll repeat that. When your exhale is longer than your inhale, you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system or your rest and digest state. Very simple. So, one last time showing you this exercise. So that's rib breathing. That is proper diaphragmatic breathing. I'm going to do belly breathing in this position so you can see the difference and notice it. So here's belly breathing. One more. And even when I do this, I'm feeling an excessive amount of pressure on the front of my body and very little movement and activation on my lower upper back. And when I say lower upper back, more like mid back here, more mid back than upper back. All right. So that is how to properly breathe. Your diaphragm separates the lungs from the abdominal cavity. So it is sitting right in the middle. Your lungs live in your chest, just as a recap. And there's the three motions you want to be focused on. And you really want to focus on keeping your breath in a three-dimensional, 360 degrees, all in the lungs lobes, not just necessarily moving the belly. And if that is what you have been previously taught, I invite and advocate that you explore this practice even further, simply because you will find that this is more effective and efficient, because I was there once doing the belly breathing. Now Squirrel is here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Here is my baby girl, Pearl. This is my mini Poochie. So Poochie's over here, Poochie Little Bear, and this is Squirrel Pearl. And she is Poochie's mini me. And so please hit subscribe so that you can always get videos from me, Dr. KTDPT, and like this video so I can keep sharing more with you. And also check out all the links that are below so you can know more information about ways that you can elevate your health and wellness naturally with me.